Breath First Yoga. I'm Jenny, and today we're going to talk about ankle and foot mobility. So we use our feet a lot, obviously, in everyday activities and in yoga, but I am going to focus on some different things you can do to help with the flexibility and mobility of your ankles, your toes, and just what you can do to release and maybe strengthen them. So with our feet, we will start with, you really want to start warming your ankles up. So just pointing your toes, going in one direction, and really starting to flex, point, each foot. Maybe do about 12 to 15 going one way, and then 12 to 15 going the other way, and then switch feet, getting those ankle joints really open and get them moving. Mine usually crack quite a bit. After doing some flexion and extension, then I would start rolling them out. So you can do these in a couple positions. You can stand up and do this, or you can squat and do this. It really depends on how much pressure your ankle can take. So if I'm in a squatted position, and I'm gonna start with this ankle, I'll go up to my toe, and then I'll roll to the side of my foot, kind of to the back of the foot, the inside of the foot, back up to the toe, and really just start to make a circle around with your foot. So if it's easier for you to stand and do this, you can stand. If it's easier to sit in a chair and do this, you can sit in a chair as my foot keeps getting farther and farther away from me. And then I would go to my other side. So again, coming up on your toes, rolling over those toes, that can be a little painful. Going to the side, coming back to the heel, going on the inside, and just rolling them out. And then going the other direction, if you can get your foot to go the other direction, and rolling out the other way. So doing that on both feet, rolling around again, doing all of these exercises, maybe 12 to 15 rotations, one way on each foot, and then going the other way. So sitting, standing, squatting, whatever works for you. The other thing that I want to talk about is our toes. And our toes, like our hands, we have 5 toes, just like we have 5 fingers. And when we're in yoga, we really talk about pressing through our palms, spreading our fingertips. Well, when we are talking about getting grounded and balanced with our feet, we want to do the same things. You want to really press through the heel of your foot and then both sides of your feet. So you're creating that nice triangle. My feet are rather wide. I have a larger triangle. So the 2 bones on the side and your foot, pressing through that, making that triangle, and then really trying to start laying your toes down so they get used to putting pressure as separate things. So they're not moving together necessarily, but there's 5 separate toes that all can create pressure and have strength themselves. So as we're trying to get them a little bit more flexible so that they can start to spread out, one of the things I started doing, especially at night before bed, is sitting and just starting to put my fingers through my toes. Now, I will tell you, this can be a lot better if you have some lotion. But getting your fingers through your toes, almost like you're interlacing like this, only with your foot and your hand. And I can't get my fingers all the way through my toes. Starting to try and spread them apart will hurt a little bit in the beginning. Obviously the big toe is a little bit easier, but starting to work your fingers through there and then just letting them sit in your toe for maybe 20 to 30 seconds, doing it again. As you do it, you can massage the top of your foot on those ligaments from your toes that come down to the center of your foot and really help them. But this is wonderful for starting to spread your toes and get them used to being their own independent little piggy, right? With my kids, we have little piggies. So that is very helpful. And again, I will do that to both feet, and I will do that at night, usually before bed, just sitting on the side of my bed. and start doing that. And lotion really does help in the beginning when your hands, it's pretty tight in there. So that's one thing to do. Another thing to do is called a toe sit. So we'll start, and you want to curl your toes under. And I am leaning forward, and then just start to slowly sit your hips back as much as your toes can handle it. So for a long time, I was like this. This was about all I could handle. Now I can sit up on my toes, and I can handle that for about 20 seconds, maybe 30 if I'm lucky. And then I'll come out of it, and then I can sit back down. Sometimes I'll come up to a squat position so I can really get on the balls of my feet and get my toes, kind of lift them, and then go put my knees down so I get a nice bend on the toes there, and sit back and just breathe. Great time to practice our breathing. But that really helps. Of course, go ahead, let them breathe a little bit, get the blood flowing back. If you want to let the top of your foot kind of roll over your toes after doing that, that feels pretty good too. But the mobility of my toes has definitely increased as I've been practicing doing things like this, and it's helped my yoga practice just flipping from an up dog into our downward facing dog. So when you're in up dog and your feet are pressed into the top of the mat and you're lifting your hips, you're curling over your toes and flipping them. So any type of mobility you can get in those toes, and then to hop or step to the front of the mat, you're coming up on your toes, bending your knees, and hopping forward. So that toe mobility really does come in handy. A couple things that you can do to help with getting flexibility and getting things moving. So I have a lacrosse ball, and then I got this, it's a little roller, little rollers off Amazon. So the lacrosse ball, wonderful for plantar fasciitis, which I've had quite a bit, but just standing at night or sitting on the edge of your bed, rolling the ball, rolling it through the arch of your foot, across the top of your foot. So really getting it all the way across and even around the heel. So I will literally stand at the side of my bed, kind of on my phone, by my wall so I can balance, and just roll and dig the ball into my foot and really start opening it up. And you can almost see all of your little piggies that as they contract when you hit the certain points on your foot with the ball. So again, doing it to both feet, don't leave one out. Even if one is a little bit more painful than the other, this is something you really want to do to both feet. And going across that ball of your foot really does help and feels very good as you roll out, even for just like 2 minutes every night. The last thing I'll talk about is this bad boy. And this is wonderful for your calves and your Achilles tendon. So obviously our calves and our Achilles is the tendon that attaches down here. It's this ligament that can be very tight on some people. Mine was very tight. I had a really hard time getting into malasana or the full squat because I couldn't keep my heels on the ground because my Achilles were so tight. So I had to work a lot on stretching them. But this is wonderful for rolling out your calf and being able to really start breaking up any of that tissue in there and rolling that out. So being able to do this a couple times a week, especially, or every night, especially with this ball, I mean, it feels good in that good pain kind of way, at least on me. Kind of coming along the side, getting into that side of your shin here, your calf. I mean, it feels pretty good, but rolling that out can really help release in there so that you can have more flexibility in your ankles, in your hand, or in your calves and your Achilles tendon. So those are just some tips I have. Hopefully it's helpful, and come back again. I plan on doing some more of these that just have really helped me be able to improve my yoga practice. So subscribe to my channel, don't miss the next one, and have a blessed day.